Bună seara, stimați telespectatori, bună seara încă o dată. Invitatul din această seară este un invitat special pentru că reprezintă o țară importantă, o țară despre care am mai vorbit la Ambasador România și care nu a primit atenția cuvenită la momentul cuvenit din partea Uniunii Europene, din partea țărilor care fac parte din Europa, în egocentrismul și în autosuficiența ei, Uniunea Europeană și țările membre, Europa în general, la fostele colonii s-a uitat întotdeauna de sus, considerându-se buricul pământului. E bine, nu este așa. Și iată că fostele colonii devin acum marile puteri ale lumii. Am vorbit despre modul în care India crește foarte mult, China nu mai vorbim, dar haideți să ne uităm și spre America de Sud. Aici avem o țară care este într-o dezvoltare fantastică din punct de vedere economic, a noua, sau pe locul 9 sau 7 în funcție de clasamentele la care ne raportăm, din punct de vedere economic, a noua sau a 7-a putere a lumii. Este pe locul 5 ca număr de locuitori, aproximativ 200 de milioane de locuitori. Pe locul 5 în ceea ce privește suprafața, teritoriul pe care îl ocupă, și aproape jumătate din continentul sud-american este ocupat de Brazilia, pentru că despre Brazilia vorbim. Este o țară cu o dezvoltare economică, vă spuneam, fantastică în ultimii 11-12 ani. A ajuns în acest moment pe locul 7, pe locul 9, deși în anii 70 Brazilia era departe de ceea ce este astăzi. Are șanse să devină, conform unor analize făcute de către cei mai buni analiști economici internaționali, pe locul 5 în ceea ce privește puterea economică în următorii ani. Dați-mi voie să-l introduc pe ambasadorul Braziliei, să-i și mulțumesc foarte mult pentru faptul că a acceptat invitația noastră. Va fi o discuție relaxată, este o țară frumoasă, este o țară minunată, este o țară despre care vorbești cu plăcere și la care te raportezi cu plăcere. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for accepting to be our guest in our talk show. I just talked a little bit about your country. I admire very much the way your country evolved. I talked about, it's my opinion, and I'm not, you're a diplomat and it's difficult for you maybe to express your opinions in this sense, but I talked about the arrogance that Europe had towards their colonies. Mm-hmm. And we look now how the colonies become superpowers. And the ignorance and the self-sufficient attitude of Europe, of big European countries, which were, let's say, the owners of the world, if we look to the 16th, 17th centuries. Because of this attitude, they lost the train to be the ones that could be the main players in your country, in Africa, in other places. And your country, it's a model of developing economically, it's a model of developing socially. I have many things to say nicely about Brazil, but I will let you do that in my place, in your place, sorry. So let me first say thank you for accepting our invitation, and just a few words about your country, and then we go to questions.
Okay. Alexandru, este o mare plăcere să fie aici. Schimb la engleză pentru este mai ușor, pentru că este mai ușor.
Mulțumesc foarte mult.
Okay. But then, well, it's first of all, I want to thank you, Alexandru, very much for the invitation. For me, it's a pleasure to be here at Realitatea TV that I watch sometimes, and I have, as I told you a minute ago, I watched already some of your interesting programs. In terms of being in Romania, being a Brazilian in Romania,
yes,
it's a big surprise, to say the least, because Romania has such a big diversity in terms of history. I like history very much.
Me too.
So when I arrived, I started reading and well, studying, getting informed and visiting the areas of the country. And the more you go, the more you like it. And then we receive our friends, our family, and then we go with them around the country. And The more we see, the more we like. So, and then there is this Latin aspect.
Yes.
This language that is one of the languages of the Latin origin, and which is not so difficult to study and to learn. I can say that I understand already quite well what I listen and of course what I read. To speak is always a little bit more difficult because you people speak so many other languages that we are...
Well, we had the Turkish influences.
I get a little lazy too, but I can manage myself quite well already in Romanian.
I should also say a little bit about you. You have been a very active diplomat. I mean, let me also say your name first. Raymundo, SANTOS, ROCHA, MAGNO?
MAGNO, yes. These Brazilians have long names. Long names.
Yes. Yeah. I was afraid that I will not manage to say correctly, so you have 4 names.
Yeah. Raymundo is my well, like
family.
Raymond.
Yes,
yeah.
It's your
SANTOS ROCHA is my mother's family name.
You kept also your mother name?
Yeah. Many of us do keep our mother's family name.
That's
and
interesting.
Magno is Italian, from Magno, from Italy. So Brazilians are also a kind of a milkshake. they are. Yes. You have many yes. Many influences.
Yes. You have 47 of them. You are European, and the rest are locals, and Africans. So you are a mixture.
Right. A big mixture. Yes.
Yeah. Raymundo. SANTOS, ROCHA, MAGNO, thank you for coming in our talk show. Okay. And let me tell the people that you have been a very active diplomat and with a lot of experience. What I would like to start to discuss with you is not the war in Ukraine, which is usually the subject for our talk show, or other geopolitical issues in Europe. Is more relaxed talk show because you are far, but you are also a very beautiful country. And you also won 5 times the World Cup at football.
Yeah, this time we did not.
No. No, this time you lost. But let's not forget about, let's not remember that. But still you have a great football team and you have a great championship. Brazil, it's really famous for that in Romania. Right. But besides that, you're also famous for other things which are very beautiful, deep. I mean, besides the writers and the culture, you have many beautiful events taking place there. And I will start with the Rio Carnival because I cannot stop myself. This is the most well-known event of Brazil. And I want you to tell us a little bit more about it, how it is organized, I mean, I know that this tradition started from the 18th century, which is amazing because many people, maybe many Romanians may think it's a recent model of event. No, it's a historical one.
Yeah, it's an old thing. It came from our influence, African influence, and partly also from that connection with the Indians that we have there.
Yes.
It's also, of course, and basically, it's a celebration of the church, although it doesn't look like.
It's a celebration of the church?
It is, yeah. It comes in the during the year, the whole year. Carnevale, people say that it's the days in which the flesh is worth Carnevale before you enter into Lent, I think. Well, that period in which you cannot eat meat and these things.
Yes.
So it's originally it's a party from the church. In Brazil, you have basically it started in Rio, but then you have all over the country. You have first the most famous one, especially for those who are come as tourists. You have the street carnival, which is the defilés, the parades and these things that take like hundreds of thousands of people, and they prepare themselves during the whole year. And then you have balls in the celebrations in the clubs, big parties, big balls with with the bands and things happen like this. And then you have the street carnival where people go to the streets, and this is the most spontaneous one. And these things, they happen during, basically it should be 3 days, but it's more, sometimes more than 3 days, during basically the month of February. But if you go to Rio, you have big school sambas of school sambas. Then you can, every Friday, you can go to a rehearsal of that they are doing every Friday, preparing for the next February.
Wow.
So this is beautiful.
The samba schools.
Samba schools. When you go there, you should, when tourists go there, they should look for these places. Everybody knows where they are, because it's worthwhile to watch. It's beautiful.
Well, it's absolutely worthwhile to watch.
Yeah.
It's a celebration of beauty, of happiness. Just seeing the footages, nothing there, and you enjoy it.
Right.
It was very well explained by you, and I think our Romanians for sure know about Carnival.
Yeah.
But what I want to ask you, it's how are the Brazilians receiving this? I mean, how is the Brazilian people? We see them as happy people. We see them as joyful, like the Latins. Is this a wrong impression, or is the real one?
No.
Because you know, sometimes stereotypes exist. So how is Brazil? How are the Brazilians?
Well, the Brazilians are basically very positive people, and they are very happy, and they like you know, dancing. They like expressing themselves. They talk loud. In a certain way, they are similar to our Romanians here, because they have a good sense of humor, and they as much as possible, they have fun.
Yes.
Everybody, when you go to a beach, it's funny because during the week there is always many people at the beach, so people know how to adapt life to enjoy it in a certain way as much as possible.
You also have a coast which is quite big. It's 8,000 kilometers of coast.
Yeah.
It is absolutely amazing, because your country represents half of a continent.
Yeah.
47%, if you want to be exact. And it's one of the largest coasts with an ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, which is amazing. I mean, for a country to have such a possibility, represents, as you mentioned before being on air, it represents a responsibility, but in my view as a tourist, if I would be coming, represents also a blessing.
Oh yes.
Tell us what, because usually we discuss this at the end, but I want to discuss with you more about this in this talk show about Brazil. What we should visit? I mean, what are the nicest places in Brazil to go, and why? Well,
if you go during February and March, you should see Carnival. There is an Italian, Domenico Di Massi, that has written about making of leisure a good business.
Yes.
And Brazilians did it with Carnival, because it works. It's very well organized. And it comes out of a big party, a big public party that we're doing. But if you think of in terms of where to go, you have the Amazon region, which is absolutely incredible. There are places in the Amazon forest, I have been there some years ago, in which you barely see the sun, the light, because so close it is. There is, you know, the Amazon river, and then you have another called Negro. When they join, when they meet, You have for kilometers, you have the Amazon waters on one side and the Negro waters on the other side, and they don't mix until very longer in front, ahead.
Wow.
So you find very, very interesting things, and there still are Indians living there well into the jungle that have very little contact with the civilization, and this is dangerous because they can get any disease very, very easily.
Yes.
Then you have the whole northeast, which is an area of beaches which are fantastic. The most interesting of that area is Bahia and the city of Salvador. Yes. This city was the first capital of Brazil in the beginning, in the colonial period still. And it's a Baroque. The central area of the city is Baroque. They have like 300 churches, very rich ones, and it's worthwhile. Then you go more to the south, you have Rio, my city.
Absolutely.
My city.
Your city,
yeah,
Rio?
Yeah, yeah. And Sao Paulo. Rio is beautiful as you can see in the postcards, yes, and the images. And Sao Paulo is a big, big, big city. It's also beautiful because it comes from a period in which coffee plantation, yes, was very strong. So you have beautiful houses, but already it has developed into a big, big, big city. In Sao Paulo, the great Sao Paulo, you have 22 million inhabitants, which is the population
of Romania.
So very, yes, big city with big problems too. Recently, yes, there was no rain, and the levels of the reservoirs were going down. And luckily, in the end, it's raining again, and they're coming up. So you have to provide food and water
for
to 22 million people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Then you have the falls of Iguaçu, which is beautiful. It's the place where Brazil, Argentina, and Paraguay meet, and yes, it's a big waterfall.
In the south.
Yeah, in the more to the south. It's worthwhile. It's huge amount of water, and it's beautiful. If you go a little bit more to the north, in the interior of Brazil, you have the Pantanal. This Pantanal is a region which is considered to be the most biodiverse region in the world, wow, followed by the second one. The second one is the delta of the Danube. Yeah, yes, and the first, it's also the first in Europe. But then you have Pantanal, and then you have the Danube Delta, which is I have visited.
You visited, okay.
It's fantastic.
You loved it.
Oh, it's really, really beautiful. And then, well, you have the south. In the south, you have a lot of immigration of Polish, Italians, Germans. So it's more like what you know here in Europe. It's more. There are some villages which are German, some others that are Polish. The Pope, John Paul II, went to this area to visit his co-nationals. Mm-hmm. But that's it. I think that you have plenty of places to go. And,
for sure.
Yeah, and basically very different from Europe.
Mr. Ambassador, you made a nice description of your country. I like it very much. I like your country very much. So I just waited to have from you, not to read from books, a description of Brazil. Yeah. We will take a short break of commercials now, and we'll be back after that. Sure. But we love already Brazil, that's for sure. For the beauty, for the diversity, for the adventure spirit, because you have such a special country with one of the hugest, let's say, forests in the world, the Amazon, and also the river, which is passing all the country from one side to the other, from the east to the west. So we will have other things to talk in the other parts of our talk show, but you made a well and very nice description of the beauty of your country. Publicitate.